name's Scott Foley. I'm from Columbia, Missouri. But this week we're at the Bassmaster Classic at Lake Conroe in Texas. For me, I've never been to Lake Conroe, never set eyes on the place. And yesterday I was introduced to some amazing technology, things that are really going to change the future of our electronics. And on my Raymarine, we were able to take Glenn's products that he's working on and look at the historical data of what this lake looked like before it was ever flooded, overlaid with today's Google Earth. Amazing technology of being able to take what was here before and what's here today and marry those two together. And Glenn and I were on the water for several hours yesterday. We went and I showed him some things about how I look for places to fish and new water, places I've never seen. And within 10 minutes we found 2 old ponds, a flooded roadbed with blown out bridges, and a dock on a creek channel where the creek channel swung immediately onto the corner of the dock. Great places to fish, great places to look at it. We found those 4 spots in 10 minutes. This is amazing stuff.
So Scott, can you show us on a little bit on the map itself? Like there's one of those ponds and how we navigated around it.
Well, if you'll first look at, just take an overview of the map. This is the Google Earth, the new technology, versus the mapping of this was the lake before it was ever impounded. So this is all flooded timber and open fields of what was here on this lake before it ever got covered with water. But what it lets me do is really visualize what I'm seeing. And as I zoom this thing in, move the cursor just a little bit here and get my boat moving. See, trees. Here's an open field. But this right there, that's an old pond. So that's shading. Let's back up here and let's see if we can find that pond that we had on the screen here just a minute ago. Just to give you an idea, like I say, here's a big open field that was here prior to the days of this lake being impounded. Those are the kind of things that we can look at. This is where we went yesterday. So we went up this creek. We started going along the bank, and the very first thing that I started to see was an area that had been dredged. So here's an old pond and a pond dam. But as we idle by, this area has been dredged out. So you can see from the Google Earth of what it looked like, and this was taken when the lake was down. So you've got this deeper water dredged out. But as I zoomed, here's what I saw. Big old long point tapering out into deeper water, a second long point tapering out to deep water, and a little bitty cut indentation in the bank where it drops off. These are perfect staging areas for spawning bass that would move up, and currently with the lake is up, so this is all covered in water today. You can't see any of this like we can here, but I was able to see some indentations, some hump points, some long tapered points, great staging areas for pre-spawn bass. Or post-spawn bass as they move out of the shallows and the beds, they move into these deeper spots. Those are key areas to fish. We found that at Nothing Flat, and then we moved on farther up the creek, and we said, ooh, there's an old pond. Let's look at this old pond. And as we idled across that pond dam was 10 feet underneath the surface of the water today, but it fell off to 19 on both sides. Well, that could be a great summertime fishing spot with that deep water close to shallow water. We moved up. There's a couple road beds, crossroads, where the old creek came through, and those bridges were blown out now and have big rock piles underneath them today. And we worked a little farther. We said, well, there's another pond. Went over, idled that pond. I don't know exactly what that is, but to me it's maybe some kind of an old, you know what, looking at this on the bigger screen, I think that's an old barn. That's just a shed for cattle. You know, and that may not be there today. It may be gone.
But the bottom of, if they had put it on a cement pad or something, that
Sure
would be
could
there.
be something there. That definitely be worth looking at on my electronics. We moved in. I said, well, I want to go look at a cove, and we worked our way into this cove, and this is a big octagonal boat dock. And as you look, when the Google Earth pictures were taken, the lake was low and this was dry, but look at this deep water close by. So this creek channel comes out and swings right underneath the corner of that dock. What a fishing spot. And I met some guys, some of the local pros from here on Lake Conroe, and I was telling them about this technology and showing them that, and one of the first things one of the guys says, this is my favorite dock to fish on the whole lake. I fish it every time I come here.
And how long did it took you to find that?
About 10 minutes, and I've never been on Lake Conroe before. I've never been this far south. So what it's telling me is it's going to let you find some really good fishing spots fast, efficiently, without spending a bunch of time running. I could have spent days running around the lake trying to figure out, well, where does this creek channel swing? Where does it go? I found it instantly. I could have found this at home before I ever left the house.
So as a tool, if you had that on your Raymarine on your boat in the driveway, and you wanted to go out there and kind of map out something prior to ever going to a location, you're in Missouri, you're fishing Conroe, something like this, you could kind of give you before you ever pre-fish the first time, this would give you a better edge by, say, eliminating some of the water.
Eliminating water, or finding some spots that I want to go take a look at and see, not knowing what the fish are doing, where they're at, gives me some places to go try. And then once I find some places that I can catch some fish, now I can take my map and look for spots that are just like it, and I can start to duplicate it, put a pattern together, and I'm still sitting in the garage.
There's so this would be kind of a time-saving tool for you?
Absolute huge time-saving tool, and also a confidence tool. If I can find these spots on the map, and then I do get here to the lake, and I can go catch some fish off these spots, and now I've already found 4, 5, 6, 10 more spots similar to it, I may be able to put a pattern together really quickly, and something that might take me days or weeks, or a lot of guys fish a lake for a lifetime and don't know spots. And showing this to some of the local guys this morning, one of the guys that's lived here on this lake since the early 1980s, he found a pond he didn't even know existed, and he fishes here all the time. Tournament fishermen on this lake didn't even know it existed.
So are you guys limited to the amount of time you can spend on the water before a tournament, or do you?
It's according to the tournament circuit. Some tournament circuits have an off-limits time 30 days prior to the tournament, and then maybe 3 official practice days. Some of the other tournament circuits don't have any off-limits. You can come in here and fish for weeks at a time. But as you travel, typically, if you can get 3 or 4 or 5 days on a body of water, that is fantastic, because sometimes it's even limited. You may just even get a couple days on the water.
So a guy that's, say, fishing here one week and he's got another tournament the following weekend, and then one after that, he really could use something that benefits him from saving time, like eliminating stuff as well as finding stuff, correct?
Finding stuff and eliminating stuff, and building on, say, what I found on Lake Conroe this week, and if next week I'm going to be at Sam Rayburn, I can just start to adjust that. Okay, I know right now we're in late March, and we're going to be into early April, looking at cold fronts, warming trends. I can adjust my fishing to the conditions, even on the next lake, building on what I developed on this lake.
So standard mapping was to take and give this historic data to all the bigger fish lakes that for the Elite Series and the FLW Tour. This would be maybe something brand new that these guys would be excited about.
It just showing it to the Bass Cat Pro staff guys that I've been working with here this week. They're very excited about it. It's really a buzz, and guys are excited. It's new and it's different, and it makes sense. It's logical. It's something good.
Well, Scott, I appreciate you taking me out and looking at this stuff with me, and because it taught me a lot about. I'm not a professional bass fisherman, and in fact, I don't bass fish at all. I'm a redfish speckled trout guy in South Louisiana, and to take this deep water stuff and convert it to what I've been doing for 30 years is going to give me an idea on how I can best help other fishermen now in different areas. Thank you so much.
No, my pleasure. Anytime.